Let's talk about negative exponents now in scientific notation. So that's a number that looks like something like this. So a times 10 to the minus n, which means that, so 10 to the minus n is equivalent to dividing by 10 n times. So we're dividing by n, so in general these numbers are going to be smaller than 1. This is going to, depends what your a is obviously, but in general these are often, let's say, smaller than 1, depending on your a. Okay, so for example, if we've got 10 to the minus 4, that means we divide by 10 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is the same as dividing by 10,000. And that's also the same as multiplying by 1/10. That's the same thing as well. That's another way of thinking about it. So that's the same as times 1 over 10,000. So that's also the same. So now let's convert between scientific notation and decimal notation a few times. So scientific notation, decimal notation. So for example, if we have 5 times 10 to the minus 4, that is 5 times 5 times 10 to the plus 4, let's just revisit that. 5 times 10 to the plus 4 is 5 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, or 50,000. Whereas if we've got 5 times 10 to the minus 4, that's 5 divided by 10, divided by 10, divided by 10, divided by 10, so that's 4 times, and that is 0.0005. So this is 5 divided by 10,000. So this fits with what I say, this is a number significantly smaller than 1. And then how about if we have 1.2 times 10 to the minus 6, that's 1.2 divided by 10, 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 divided by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you could just say divided by 10 to the 6. That's another way of thinking about it. But anyway, that gives us 0.00000012. So that's quite clumsy, isn't it? So it's good to have the scientific notation. Now, we've got this same shortcut as with the positive exponents. So to go from scientific notation to decimal notation, let's start on the next line. So scientific notation to decimal notation, we have to move the decimal point n places to the left. So for instance, if you've got 5 times 10 to the minus 4, we write our 5, that's same as saying 5.0, and then we can, I've written it nice to the right of the piece of paper here, so then we move the decimal point 4 places to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we fill in the zeros like before. That's 0.0005. And same deal here, 1.2 times 10 to the minus 6. Let's put the 1.2 over here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That gives us 0.00000012, so just the same as before. So to go from scientific notation to decimal notation, you move the decimal point to the left, and the other way round for decimal notation to scientific notation. So for instance, if we've got 0.0075, for instance, then let's and we want the decimal point here, so that's 1, 2, 3 spaces, so that's 10 to the minus 3. So that's 7.5 because the decimal point ends up here, times 10 to the minus 3.